I've been a huge fan, a huge supporter of the Hasbro Haslab. I really have. I've backed all of the Star Wars starships. Started with the Jabba's sail barge, the Razor Crest, and now the Haslab, the Ghost, based off of the ship as seen on Rebels. They did take some creative liberties with the ship, though. I find the ship somewhat disappointing, though, because it's a large vehicle. But my God, is there a ton of dead space in the overall execution that Hasbro took? They were so concerned about making it so huge and so abnormally large that they oversaw just the basic necessities of what I call dead space. The Ghost has a ton of dead space. It really caught me off guard, though, because I honestly feel they did a decent job in its R&D. It feels like they took inspiration from the Rebels cartoon and from the live-action show, probably from Ahsoka. In doing so, though, they made the ship abnormally large, and as I was USB hacking this vehicle, I discovered so much dead space. I couldn't believe that they put in so much work into making this beautiful Haslab Starship for the Star Wars Vintage series, for the 3 3/4 scale, that it just ended up with so much dead space. And this is what I'm talking about. Compared to, say, the sail barge, compared to the Razor Crest, it feels like they used every part of the bird when it came to the Razor Crest and when it came to the actual sail barge. But with this vehicle, as far as interior playset design, it just seems to be centered in the vehicle. And then you got stuck with these panels, which I get it is part of the ship, right? This is the docking port. This is part of the vehicle and so forth, and then opposite and such. But this is all dead space. There's there's a ton of volume inside this panel. There's a ton of volume inside this airlock chamber, and then opposite, so forth. And it seems like such a waste. Like, why didn't they incorporate like access inside these panels for storage or for playability? And the only thing that I can come up with is the tooling for a ship of this size is just expensive. I've had friends in the industry, and they've shared with me personally how much tooling is, and it's the mold, it's the steel mold when it comes to fabricating these vehicle playships. And the larger you get, the more expensive the tooling gets. We're talking like in the 6 figures here, folks. So I get it. And it's like, what is it, Hasbro? You didn't think that the tooling for this size was going to be expensive? You know what? I'm speculating here. I think they felt this was going to be a runaway hit. This thing barely hit its goal, and I honestly think that they were just going to like make bank on this thing. And what I find so disappointing is the amount of the dead space is killing me. Why couldn't you have created panels that could be removed and underneath design? But I get it. It's expensive. It's a Star Wars IP. Star Wars license is probably one of, if not the most expensive license that probably Hasbro holds. Hasbro holds Transformers, G.I. Joe, etc. And just for the record, folks, Hasbro doesn't even own Transformers. They license it out from Tomy. Tomy is the true owner of Transformers. So when it comes to, say, Marvel, Star Wars, Hasbro has to pay a license. So I could only imagine what they're factoring into license a vehicle of this size, and then what it takes to mold it. Jabba's sail barge was manufactured. It was made. It went into production at a time where labor overseas was radically different. This is what, 2018. Very different, where you can get a huge ship, because the sail barge for Jabba, oh my God, it is the crowning achievement. It is the pinnacle of what they were able to create. Like, every part of the sail barge is usable. Photo ops, interior, exterior, and such and so forth. So, and they created that miracle, that lightning in the bottle. They captured it with the Razor Crest. They did it with the Razor Crest. The Razor Crest is a work of art. It's still, if not my favorite ship between the sail barge. So I pre-ordered this. I didn't even research it. I saw this in person at San Diego Comic-Con. So I never second guessed the interior access of this ship. I'm like, oh, cool, it's Hasbro. I don't worry about Hasbro Pulse. They always do the right thing. It's gonna be fantastic. Their starships are usually very successful and such. So when I got this, I've had this for a few weeks, and I've been terrified to open it because I know that my USB hacking abilities are they're gonna take over me. I love to USB hack. It's my favorite pastime when it comes to these vehicles of this size. I unscrew it, I add a lot of LEDs and lighting and such, that it brings joy to me. It's just a lot of fun. Now, don't judge me, but I've never seen a Rebels cartoon. I've never had any interest. I don't hate it, or it's something that I've never pursued, simply because I've always felt that at the time when that show was on the air, it was not canon. I didn't care. I'm like, whatever, Rebels and all that animated shows, it's just not for me. But that didn't stop me from seeing the big picture when it came to backing Haslab Ghost Ship. They did a lot of things on here right. They honestly did. I like the little shuttle on top, which is the little Phantom. I thought to scale the Phantom was done right. But in scale to the actual ship. But it's not in scale to the interior of the ship, which is wild. Because this chopper is not 3 3/4 inch scale, versus you, I guess, as a fandom, you would have the regular version inside of the interior for display. So yes, the shuttle is in scale to the exterior of the ship, but the characters are not, and that didn't stop me from actually popping in a figure in here. I believe there's a C-3PO, an animated figure in here, but I don't know if you can see it or not, but there is a C-3PO figure in there. So it's just, this is why, like, this whole design, like, it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. Like, the amount of dead space bothers me. Now, what's interesting is that when I was USB hacking the Ghost Ship, I found evidence of upgradability, like the engines. When I dismantled the engines, they were interiorly designed to house lighting. Now, I don't know if that was done on purpose for the USB hackers like me, or if at one point in time on their drawing board they were going to add lighting. Now, I don't care about sound. Most collectors, they want lights and sound. I can add sound to this. Sound is not that difficult. In fact, with all the dead space in the ship, I actually, at one point during my USB hacking, I had a USB Bluetooth speaker. I went against it because I felt it was going to be challenging to charge the speaker and provide updates, where the USB speaker would take like an SD card and so forth. It seemed like such a hassle, and in the end, I didn't really care about the engine, the actual sound of the engines. It was more of the visual aspect of the ship. Can I bring the ship to life, right? And the evidence inside these actual thrusters, like, there was a ton of space. There was like film, I want to call it biofilm, but it's not biofilm. It's like a transparent film that if you shine light through it, it just reflects the actual hues of the color, which is yellow. And I also noticed that they added upgradability factors to the actual light pips. They actually added housing or space inside these pips, and I'm like, okay. Same thing for underneath the vehicle too. I don't know if you can see it, like right underneath here, the little light pips up there. They designed it where an LED light bulb could be inserted. So again, I don't know if they purposely added that features or those features for someone like me that's willing to take a leap of faith and USB hack it, or at one point in their blueprints, they're like, hey, we're going to add all these lights, but it's going to get way too expensive, so let's scrap it. Again, I'll let you, the audience, decide on that, and so forth. The other thing that I found a bit disappointing was probably the actual paint details. I feel like they half-assed it on the weathering compared to what was given to us on the Razor Crest and Jabba sail barge. I felt like they took shortcuts on the actual weathering. It gives off that toyetic look because the weathering is not as detailed as what I'm used to from, let's say, the Razor Crest or from the sail barge. So just a few missed opportunities. I'm a bit disappointed. I will say I'm going to be very skeptical when it comes to the next Haslab Star Wars Starship, because look, it's a moneymaker for Hasbro. It really is. It's a huge moneymaker. I do feel on the books that they were disappointed with the actual back-end to this vehicle. I mean, it's the Ghost ship based off of the cartoon, and I'm assuming it was seen on season 1 of Ahsoka. It is a different clientele. You're catering to a different group. If Hasbro is listening, which I don't know if they are or not, they should stick to the cinematic starships. Why don't we have a Haslab epic version of the Shuttle Tidarium, right? Why not? Give us, go down the classic trilogy. Go back and give us, I mean, that was the whole idea of the Haslab, right? Where you went in and you gave us a classic vehicle like the sail barge, and it had never been done before, and you're able to upgrade it and give it that fresh feel. Go do that, right? I'm telling, out of the classic trilogies, have they done all the ships? I'm not against 2.0s. Shuttle Tidarium. Give us an epic Haslab Imperial Walker. You want to print, Hasbro, you want to print money? Give us that. The Ghost was the Ghost was a leap of faith on their part, and kudos to Hasbro, right? They made a ship of this size and epic to a limited faction of the community. Star Wars is such a divisive community. Like there's people that only do the classic trilogy. There's people that only do the prequels. There's people that love the sequel trilogies, while others completely hate the sequel trilogies. I get it. It's the one IP that is so friggin' divided. I totally understand. So I applaud Hasbro for taking a leap of faith on making this. Seriously. I don't think they'll ever do it again, but let's not forget though, that's the whole idea of what the Haslab is supposed to do for us. The Haslab is supposed to be able to provide this level of risk to Hasbro, right? And if it doesn't fund, then they don't spend a ton of money in tooling. I'm sorry, folks. Hasbro is a publicly traded company. They are for profit. They can't design and make epic vehicles like this and then sell it on Amazon and then have collectors camping out on the discount side. it's not a good business model. It doesn't make sense. So I love what Hasbro has done with the Haslab, and I know other toy manufacturers are going down that road. I wish personally Hot Toys would go down that road and actually create campaigns, because I'm tired of Hot Toys constantly teasing large epic vehicles and never moving forward because they feel no one's going to back it. And I'm like, let the fans decide. Let the fans decide if we want these epic large scale vehicles. Mondo's been doing it. Mattel's been doing it. It's been widely successful with McFarlane. So, yeah, this is. I'm going to give this a miss. Now, I still had fun USB hacking this. This was still a joy to USB hack it. And I'm out here in the middle of the desert, enjoying the sun, so you can see the sun going down. It's beautiful. And I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get the battery. So when I was gonna USB hack this, I knew that I was gonna need a lot of power. I felt that the 5 volt USB architect was not gonna meet the demands. I wanted lights on this. I wanted those engines to pulsate. I wanted exterior lighting, and I wanted interior lighting. I'm like, you know what? I've had issues where I've pushed the limit to 5 volts, and the power just tends to be throttled, where certain figures just will not light up because the 5 volt outlet, it just can't supply. So this was my first USB hacking project where I built this on a 12 volt architect, and I just studied up on resistors, power distribution, and I think I only had one blowout on one LED, but the LEDs are so cheap, so it wasn't a big deal. But nonetheless, though, I built this all with a plug and play. You can kind of see it here, and I'm waiting for the sun to go down so that I can. Oh, I love how the sun is going down. It's giving me that Tatooine right here. So this is, I don't know if you can see it, but right there, it's a plug-in. You can kind of see it there. Hopefully you can see it. But yes, can you get the glove there? But it's right there. Hopefully you can see it. So it's a plug and play, and it is a AC adapter. I brought a battery pack, an actual AC, so that I can plug it in. So as the sun goes down, I can have this lit up against the desert backdrop here. But yes, this thing is built on a 12 volt architect so that it has plenty of power. And once I have everything plugged in, I'll take the GoPro and I'll move it inside the interior so you can kind of see how cool and epic it looks. All right. Oh, and it's on. All right. Ooh. That's kind of cool. This design for the engine flicker, I'm 100% proud of. I used an LED circuit where you would find in those flickering candles, and I had like 6 of them. So by incorporating that flickering candle LED circuit into a cob LED, I was able to achieve this, which I thought was pretty badass. And hopefully I'm getting some cool shots up here. I don't, maybe it's too dark. Let's see. Here's the front of the vehicle. And I'm gonna have to do some photos, and I'll splice it with this video, but you can kind of see it there. And I added little LED lights on the exterior to help illuminate the vehicle, and I added underneath it to illuminate underneath the vehicle as well too. So hopefully these shots are coming in. Maybe, I don't know if the GoPro can see this while I'm done. And I love that underneath the light just shines to the surface, which helps bounce the light back up underneath the exterior of the ship. Now, I didn't use any of the characters from the Rebels. I don't know if you can see Han Solo and there's Jyn Erso in the vehicle cockpit there. That is in the gunner. It's the little droid, the battle droid. It's as seen in Mandalorian, I believe. So I'll start removing some of the panels. There it is. All right. Oh, see, this is cool. There's a cob LED strip right underneath here, which helps illuminate the mess hall. And a little astromech droid, Hun Taco from the ride and such. That way you can kind of see all the way down. Oh, that's wild. Yeah. And I don't know where the picnic table goes, so I just left it in the center there. I'm assuming it goes there. Yeah. All right. Let's remove the second stage of the vehicle, and then you can really truly see. Yeah. I'm just hovering the GoPro inside the actual exterior. Hopefully these shots aren't too wonky. Then I'm gonna put it around. I added just interior oh, there you go. Move that around. I added interior lighting, just random, just to give it that more of a sci-fi feel. Again, this is why I knew that I needed to learn how to use a 12-volt architect versus the 5. There's nothing wrong with a 5-volt USB plug-in, but I knew that I wanted this ship to use a lot of power. Just things glowing and just, I love that. I love this green hue here. And then I even added like an LED to a little console on there, a little red LED, so it hits the co-pilot. So there's just tons of lighting everywhere. I love this. This is what brings a smile to me. I think I added like a fire button, red button there. So yeah, that just came out really nice. Probably my best, if not one of my best USB hack jobs. And oh, wait a minute, let's go the cargo. I didn't even show you the cargo. There you go. So that's right, the cargo is illuminated. And then, you know, with the landing struts, there's little plastic components, little plastic panels. I 3D printed just a generic Star Wars container so that I can keep all of those random parts together. So like for the actual panels that pop off underneath the ship to attach the actual landing struts, I'm keeping them on here in this little generic 3D printed Star Wars container, and then that way it'll just I can keep it all together, and then I can just move it into its cargo bay there, and then close that up. There you go. But then, yeah, and then there's little LED lights up there too. So this just came out really, really nice. Showing you there, showing you otherwise. Like, subscribe, leave your comments below, and I gotta say, this was a lot of fun.